I wore this today because I knew that I was talking about Australian Survivor. It's just like a forest or it's palm trees. I don't know. It felt right for the occasion. And if you're listening to this podcast, then you have no clue what I look like right now. And that's fine.
For the audio listeners, Logan is wearing a tank top that is entirely made of leaves. Yes, actual leaves. Not actual clothing, just leaves. I'm doing a great job, by the way. If anyone wants to hire me for like audio descriptions, I got you.
Oh no! If anyone needs anything for audio, anything, hit me up. I'm better. No, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. Anyway, hi. Welcome to The Cut, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy. Say something gay. Gay. Today I am drinking. Well, I need to refill my cup. Actually, I'm drinking some black cherry lemonade that is caffeinated because Lord knows I need it. And I'm not drinking out of my cup mug today because I don't want it to get stained. But I'm using this beautiful sort of. I'm using it to show the duality of this season and of the tribes. And I'm going to kick this one out of the way because now it's merge and it's cup mug.
Oh my God. Wow.
Oh my God. Panel full of cup mugs. I don't have all the crazy things that Lana has.
Wait. I got you. Give me 1 second. Second. I actually just remembered that I can just do... My lights aren't connected.
No!
God damn it. Audio listeners, you don't see anything. Yay!
Yeah! Panel full of cup mugs. Panel full of cup mugs.
I could have done this for 4 weeks.
Bam! Well, now you know. And now you know for Survivor 46. Hey, we'll take that. And you could get your cup mug and all of our other fabulous merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link is down in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically within the US. So there are no excuses.
None at all.
No. Today we're looking at people that want to outwit, outplay, and outlast.
And also those who were at the gym, because apparently that's a transferable skill now. Yeah. Anyway, hi, my name is Jack. I am the resident game designer of the panel. And does the car curse exist in like... I know it exists in the US, but like...
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that now we're just going to look at it in the Australian go.
Oh no, there is an actual car curse.
Oh, great.
Yeah, he's destined to get 6th.
Oh, that's fun. Just before the finale.
I know.
Yay!
Yeah, no, I believe every person on, I think if not almost every person on Australian Survivor that has won a car over the years has come in 6th place.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he can drive into the sunset with that thing, out of the game and out of the remainder of the money. But
well, you know.
You
got a car.
He's a diplomat. He'll be fine.
Oh yeah, he's fine. He doesn't need the money here. It's fine. But yes, we are talking about Australian Survivor. It is merge week. And oh dear goodness gracious, was it a merge week?
It certainly was. Merge, but not. But
merge,
not jury.
But started on just this. Yeah, that's kind of how they do it.
Yeah,
it's because they merged with 14 people.
That's also a valid point. It's like a jury of 11. Like, that's a lot. But also,
we still have 12 people in the game. Like, to just think about it in that. Yeah, we still have 12, don't we?
No, we have 11 after this.
Oh, do we have 11?
14 minus 3.
We have 11 people left at the end of this week. So, yeah, jury should start on Sunday's episode.
Yay! Oh. I mean, we kind of got some interesting people out before the jury, but I mean, this episode, these episodes weirdly felt like a 1, 2, 3 punch where one gave foreshadowing of 2, which gave exact reasoning for 3. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, due to circumstances that have now become apparent, I can't root for what I would normally root for.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put this out here right now. If you are a fan of Jaden based on this televised program and you're not looking at social media, I understand why you're a fan of Jaden's. Just please be aware that he sent his own hate and all of his followers to hate on Shannon Gus, who is the host of the official Talking Tribal. Thank you. I couldn't think of the name. The Australian Survivor recap show, because she didn't say anything negative about his game. She said, I don't know if he can handle this, not specifying what this meant. To which he said, and I quote, and this is why, or something to the, not and I quote, something to the effect of, this is why you will stay on the couch and you always will. Like, very degrading, very hurtful towards someone who has been very, very helpful to all of us podcasters and viewers of Australian Survivor. So if you're a fan of Jaden, please just be aware that he's a misogynistic piece of shit. And if people want to come for me in that, my Twitter is down below. Go for it, baby. I can take it. So can Shannon. I'm not saying she can't because she did. But I'm just saying if y'all want to do that to me too, cool. I can handle it. Nothing y'all would say is not anything I haven't heard before. So
if y'all want to hate on me, like, you can do that before I get on like Survivor 47.
Oh, don't
and like
do that to Jack.
I wreck your fans, but you know,
don't do that to Jack. Just do it to me. It's fine.
Come on, let's split the hatred.
Okay, well, if you want hate, then that's fine.
I have to have like my gay villain origin story somehow.
I mean,
but okay, anyway.
Sure. Anyway, literally. But yes, we are here. It is Australian Survivor Week 5. We come back and Kelly was finally eliminated. And now it's merge.
Yeah, it's merge. I kind of wanted Kelly to make the merge just because I think literally she would have been a fucking wreck and probably have gone out here. But at the same time, I want to see her be a wreck in front of as many people as possible.
I mean,
and I love her to death.
I do get that for sure. I don't share that opinion personally, but I get where you're coming from. I was happy to see her go when she did.
Yeah.
I'll say that. Like, I was fine with it. I'm not opposed to it. I think it's fine. Everyone's happy that Kelly is gone. Literally almost everyone.
The hurricane is over, and
thank goodness for that. But yes, so we go to what they reward challenge, and oh boy, it was a reward challenge of epic proportions.
Yeah,
JLP says that it's merge. We're going to do an individual reward challenge, and it's the standing on a
beam while holding a bow.
Yeah, it's like, the bow with the ball and the beam and all of that kind of stuff.
If you've watched American Survivor, you've seen this so many times. If you've watched Australian Survivor, you've seen this so many times.
Yeah.
And the last person standing here gets the biggest reward of the season, which is apparently one up by literally the next reward challenge, which is also the biggest reward of the whatever. It is $60,000 sent in $5,000 increments over the next 12 months. But that's not all. No, that's not good enough. You also get a mattress to sleep on for exactly one night, along with a robe. And like, it literally just looks like you planted a bed in the middle of
You planted a
desert.
4-poster bed in the middle of Samoa.
But that's not all either. You get to be a spectator at the next tribal council. And no, that doesn't mean you're immediately removed from the game. It's just safety without power, but you get to stay this time. Which, sure. Why not?
Wild reward. Wild.
And you gotta love right below it, because this is literally just gambling. On the bottom, it's like, please don't gamble. Like, all of the reasons why you shouldn't gamble.
Oh, yeah,
like, it's 18 plus.
This is sponsored by
Set for Life.
Yeah, Set for Life. And so they're like, don't gamble, please. Thank you. But you could win this if you did. If you really wanted to, you could.
If you did.
But don't do it. Or do it responsibly. Thank you. So this comes down to
Valeria and Scott.
Valeria
if I'm remembering
Scott,
right.
Yes, you are correct.
And we finally get a Valeria win.
Yay!
Valeria!
I was like, Valeria's not going to be the merge move. Yay!
And
I'm
she
thrilled.
like one of the major concerns I had is, oh, they're just going to get rid of her because they don't want Mark to have any sort of alliance with Valeria because they already took out Viola. Yeah, no, that's not happening anymore. Find a new target.
Woo!
Yay!
Yay, Valeria! Yay. And now she can turn into fierce Russian woman and go after Caroline and Kitty. Now, drink every time this week that Valeria mentions Viola. Because actually don't.
You will be on the floor before tribal.
You would be on the floor before the first tribal.
It gets bad. I mean, and good for her.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people's storylines are very, very consistent this week. It's like the Middle-Aged Mafia is together, kind of, sort of, but like Caroline is still going after Mark, and like Mark is still going after Caroline. Valeria wants to take out Caroline and Kitty because they blindsided Viola. Eden's just there. Winna is, kind of aligned with Valeria still. Jaden does not know where he is.
Yeah.
At all.
He's still wandered onto the beach and is like, just
Kirby and Ferris are like kind of working together, kind of, sort of, not really, but kind of, but maybe, but sometimes.
Just a little bit.
Rihanna is reunited with Kirby, even though they're not going to vote together, I think, at all in this week. Eileen is our under-edited queen. Again, she's back to being completely under-edited. Raymond is still, just Raymond, being funny. Scott, I think, has the most dramatic change in edit, obviously. We'll talk about it. And then Alex just looks nice in his Speedo. So.
I mean, I don't mind.
I've shifted my crush of the season from the one that we don't speak about anymore to Alex.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it's always been Ferris. Let's just be honest and real with ourselves. It's always been Ferris.
I mean, like, in a more platonic way, for me, it's Raymond.
Oh, I love Raymond.
It's not at all like
you are Raymond.
Yeah,
you are,
I'm
mean
Raymond,
this, but do we not think Raymond is?
I'm not going to speculate.
I don't like to speculate either, but I will just say it would not surprise me.
But I will say, Raymond, if you want to become friends or something more, my number is...
Oh, Lord. Well, their Twitter is down below, so hey. But no, you are Raymond.
I'm Raymond, but American, which means I'm dumber.
Does that make me Ferris?
Oh my god. Maybe.
Ah! I kind of love this journey for myself.
Good on you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll take it. I'm gonna snatch that one. Thank you. Then who's Kirby?
Is it Lana?
I was gonna say.
It's Lana. It's definitely Lana.
But I love Lana more than Ferris loves Kirby. Let's just be honest here.
It's Ferris and Kirby like in the correct timeline where they decide to go to Final 2 together.
Or am I Mark and is she Caroline?
No, I'm gonna go with Ferris and Kirby just because I like that more.
Yeah. I'm like a mix between Mark and Ferris though, because Ferris has the beard, but Mark is bald. Anyway, we go to the merge camp, and I just talked about all of the things that we just figured out.
But we do get one additional little thing alongside it, and we get the name. And I think Scott's the one who suggests it. Is it Scott or Eden?
It's Scott that does it. Or no. Yeah, it's Scott.
And Scott suggests Tassie, which is Samoan one.
Yeah. I have to say as well, I love that we had this like blue and not even pink. This is more of like a mauve, like dark mauve color this year for the buffs. And then the merge buff is this gorgeous navy blue. I'm like, oh, I love her.
It's taking the Titans like vibrant blue and mixing it with the Rebels darkness.
Yeah,
like kind of love it. Good on them for finding like
either a dark purple or a navy blue. I would have been more than okay with, but
yeah,
they realized that with Valeria having safety without power, the Rebels have a 7-6 majority. Now, will they all stick together for this week? Maybe. Apparently.
And of course, people start throwing out names of the other kind of both the pre-swap and post-swap kind of throw names out. Caroline kind of looks at Ferris and is like, should we get rid of him? And tries to pull in Valeria. Valeria is not happy still because she's like, sure, why did Viola go out? Oh, because you didn't want her and me and Mark together. Okay.
Okay.
And she finds out that Mark was very much blindsided by that, which, great. They're back kind of together. Kinda. It's like weird, but also not directly going after. It's something.
Yeah. So we go basically right to immunity.
Basically, yeah.
Which is just an exercise machine from the gym, as you've so bluntly put it. But that's kind of exactly what it is.
It's quite literally just a leg press.
Yeah. But you have to hold it.
Which is interesting. I mean, we know that it's a portion of everyone's body weight. I think it was 20? Like, that's the number that I thought of too, which like, for some people is a lot easier than others.
For me, it would be hell, and I would draw anything, literally any challenge involving body weight percentage, I'm out. Like, unless it's me holding it on my back. Because all of my strength is in my back. As absolutely messed up as it is, like, and it's bad. All of my strength comes from my back and my core. So like if it's a leg press, nope, I'm done. If it's upper body, nope, I'm done. Like
But
those are endurance challenges of these kind are not my challenge.
yeah. I would say that my legs are pretty good. Basically my legs, my hands, maybe my back. That's basically where I lie.
Because if it was 20%, I'd be carrying somewhere around like 53 pounds.
I'd be right around the same.
No, thank you. I'm fine.
Yeah,
No,
40
thank you.
to 50 pounds. That's, I'm gonna be honest, it's a lot on my legs.
In an isolated muscle group.
Yeah.
Like, are we gonna have a clavicle immunity challenge this season? Like, what the fuck is this?
This is them going, I have a really good idea, but we also kind of ran out of time, so let's just do this.
I was at the gym this morning and I really thought this would be a great immunity challenge idea. That's what it feels like to me. But, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not going to judge because I'm not a Survivor producer. But so it comes down to Jaden and Winna.
And in the stupidest reason I think I've ever heard for giving up immunity,
Jaden literally drops out of the immunity because the immunity necklace is too girly for him.
What? Just say you didn't want immunity. Like, it's that simple.
Anyway,
but
Winna wins. Winna
wins immunity.
Good for Winna. He got one in before. We'll talk about it.
Being murdered.
We're not on the Traitors. This is not the Traitors Australia. But the Traitors with this cast? Oh!
Chaos.
Oh my god, I would love it. So, okay, here's the thing. We've got a lot of things happening at the camp before Tribal. Caroline is trying to secure her numbers. So obviously she has middle-aged mafia. Eden is thinking that they can also get Alex, potentially Kirby, potentially Rihanna. They want to vote for Raymond because he's an extension of Ferris instead of just going after Ferris themselves. I don't understand. I get it because they think he has an idol, which he does. So I get it. Kirby then goes to Ferris. And they're figuring out a vote on Kitty. So they're going to try to blindside Kitty. But in this mix includes Scott, who is bonded very strongly with Kitty in the short time since Merge started. So Scott goes and tells Kitty and Caroline that they're trying to blindside her. But then when they ask who said it, he doesn't name the names of his like original allies. So he says Valeria and Mark, which is not true. And I love that while this is happening, there's this windstorm just happening around. I'm like, this could not be, you can't script this.
It's actively like two kind of forces going at each other, but also there's a lot of crosses and it's kind of a beautiful mess here. But we kind of begin to see an interesting thing happen with Scott, where he almost gets caught in the crossfire of it and is looked at really weirdly because of it.
Which I didn't understand. I'm going to be really honest. I didn't understand why Kitty and Caroline had such a negative reaction towards Scott coming to them with this information. Like, for me,
I think
that
it was
just...
illogical.
I think they were caught up in their own plan that they didn't realize another plan had hatched right before their eyes, because they've been so used to pretty much controlling the plan, or at least thinking they're controlling the plan. And then I get when asked, like, who said it, and Scott not saying anything. Like, I get that. But also, you have to also recognize that Scott is playing his own game. And if he's trying to give you this information, take the information. There's literally no reason for him to give you false information. So in that moment, I would have just trusted him on his word. And instead, he kind of gets brought into this, like, because then Kitty and Caroline go and confront Valeria and Mark, and they're like, no, it wasn't us, it was Ferris. Which, again, not wholly true, because it was kind of a group collective spurred behind the scenes by Valeria, which is true. But she doesn't want them to know that. So Scott kind of just gets called out for all of this stuff, and I'm like, I don't get any of this. Like, none of this makes sense to me. And so Caroline then goes to Alex because she knows he has an idol, and is like, you have to play your idol for Kitty.
He goes, what?
To which, as soon as she walks away, he goes, huh?
Whose idol is this?
It's not our idol. You went to the damn feast. I fought for this.
I forgot that anything that Alex gets is actually Kitty's. And that's the honest truth behind it, apparently. But in all of this mess, Eden just goes, should we just put this all on Raymond at this point? Like, why are we doing all this? And it's kind of proposed as like we don't know what the fuck is going on. Let's all just shoot on Raymond and pray. But
none of this matters, because we go to tribal council and Scott quits for his mental health.
Good on him.
Yes.
It does definitely suck to see this storyline being forcefully extended.
Yeah.
But also, if you feel like you are not going to be there fully and you'd rather take yourself out of the game, good on you for realizing that.
Absolutely.
That's a hard thing to do.
And I don't think that was it seemed like it was kind of a long time thing. He's a fan, and so I think, I never know how I would do with my mental health stuff if I was ever on Survivor. Like, I really don't know how I would do. And that's why, like, I would be nervous to go play Survivor, just because I feel like I would maybe end up in a similar situation where it's like, I would love to play this game. I just don't know if I can physically or mentally play the game. And he talked a lot about Kirby being his, like, rock throughout the whole process, which I really loved. I thought that was a really nice sentiment. But he does bow out, so that way everybody else can have the opportunity to, go a little bit further forward in the game. And I respect that a lot. I think understanding your limitations and taking yourself out of a situation when you feel like you need to is the best way to do things. So,
and especially when you recognize it as like, hey, all of y'all are here to like play the game. I'm not here right now. My head is not here. I'd rather y'all continue playing, which, in my opinion, is really, really mature.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I have nothing but respect for Scott, but unfortunately, that does mean our art director is gone. Yeah.
No.
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But now
But
we move to episode 14.
we do. And it is the aftermath, because what we didn't talk about at that tribal that we just had was that Kitty kind of goes off because she thinks she's going home. And she kind of blows up a bunch of stuff. And the episode starts with Caroline and Kitty having a full breakdown.
I can't sleep next to him like this anymore. Like, it's just too much. Like,
but okay, here's the thing. Mark hadn't done anything this time.
Mark just genuinely was like, y'all fucked me over before, and I tried to work with you again, and y'all still fucked me over. Like,
but was Mark part of that plan? Yes. Was Mark spearheading that plan? No,
he was just brought.
That was Valeria. So it's like, oh Lord Jesus, like, what are we doing? It seems like, it seems like if Scott had not quit, Kitty would have gone home. That was like
probably
the situation.
Which, congrats to Kitty for getting an extra round at least.
A couple, seems like.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're having a full breakdown. Karen can't sleep next to him. And Kitty's like, I can't believe I was almost blindsided. I'm going to be really honest. I still don't care for either of them.
Yeah, I really never really have.
I can't tell them apart when they're in the dark. I can barely tell them apart still, period. I don't like either one of them, really. Honestly, I think at this point there are 3 people on this cast that I really like. I don't know that translates to winning potential, but there's 3 people I really like.
Yeah.
And it's Valeria, Eileen, and Raymond.
I can see a winning case for about one of them at this point.
And it's Eileen.
I was going to say it's Valeria.
I could see it being Valeria. Australian Survivor does do well with under-editing their female winners. So...
Yeah.
Because who the hell would have thought Liz would have won last season? Oh, you didn't watch last season. This year.
I'd read enough about it. But
yeah. Icon, legend, queen Liz. Period. We love her. But...
The only other real noticeable things between, other than Caroline and Kitty having a full breakdown about how, surprise, the house of cards that they laid completely toppled over, is Kirby and Mark are not exactly playing the game as straight as they could and are giving a little too much away.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also kind of noticing how Caroline and Kitty are like off, and it's like, can we still trust them? Are they like completely far gone at this point? Are they just gonna flip to the rebels? Like, who knows? Not flip to the rebels at this point, but they are just painting a bigger target on their back. And with that, we go to immunity.
Literally. Hang on a rope for as long as you can. It's like, what are these challenges?
I mean, most Survivor endurances in the US are only really that impressive because they have nice, bright colors. When you just have rope, you kind of lose it.
But sometimes all you have is a frame.
Sometimes all you have is a frame and a rope. But
they're pretty colors.
The pretty colors.
But yes, hold on to a rope for as long as you possibly can until you die.
And if you ever fall in the water, you're done. And sometimes you have to go up to a smaller knot. Okay, sure, whatever.
I felt so bad for Alex sliding off because I couldn't tell what part of his body he scraped on the rope.
Oh, some of the falls during this look painful.
Oh yeah. I'm just like, ooh. Oh no. Oh no. So it comes down to Valeria and Rihanna?
Yes.
Or Eileen. No, Eileen and Rihanna part 2, the remix.
Yep.
Yes.
You're right.
Eileen and Rihanna part 2, Electric Boogaloo. It's been a few days since I watched these episodes, y'all. Bear with me. Yes, Eileen and Rihanna part 2, Electric Boogaloo. But this time, when it counts for individual immunity, Rihanna pulls through, and it's one of the only things she's done this season other than get herself an idol.
Yay!
Rihanna is such an interesting character in the narrative of this season right now, because obviously she's got like her stuff with Kirby, but also she's very well entrenched with Caroline and Kitty. And so there is like they do have like a very strong relationship from the swapped rebel tribe. And so it's interesting where Rihanna is going to end up voting, really. When we come back from the immunity challenge, everyone's kind of locked on Caroline and Kitty. Mark and Valeria are hell-bent on it. Decides to flip the vote onto Caroline instead of Kitty. And the ladies try to push their votes onto Mark. So they're desperate and approach Ferris.
This one is so weird. I'm not gonna lie.
Because what's so interesting about this merge was that there were kind of 4 trios going into merge. Because you have Ferris, Eileen, and Raymond. You have the Middle-Aged Mafia minus Mark. You have Mark, Valeria, and Winna. And then you have Kirby, Rihanna, and you had Scott. I would kind of maybe lump Alex in with them now. And then the other one.
The other one.
And I think that's what's making this merge so interesting, is that it's all voting blocks that are kind of like, it's a very fluid merge so far. And I do really, really like that. But yeah, so Caroline go to Ferris and Eileen. They offer up Winna as an option. And we know that Ferris has been wanting revenge for Garrick.
So Ferris is very on board.
So Ferris is on board here.
And just subtly pulls in Eileen, Raymond. And we see a plan come together where somehow Ferris is back on top.
Yep.
And then we kind of get to the vote at this point.
Yeah, we go to tribal. We're not really sure where things are going to end up. Before tribal, Caroline is very concerned because there's so much scrambling. She decides she doesn't even want to tell Alex or Rihanna the plan. So they are both told fake names, which I think is interesting. Winna at Tribal talks about finding clarity in the chaos.
Ouch.
Which doesn't spell well for him. And I love that at Tribal, I think it was Eden, is talking about this strategic speed dating. They're like talking about it in dating terms, which I think is a really interesting way to look at Survivor. But I really like it. I think it makes things a little bit more fun in that regard. But yeah, Tribal is Tribal. That was kind of the one thing that I thought was pretty interesting. And then we go. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I mean, it's interesting because of the fact that even though it's weird because we have a voting block system, but also tribal lines are being considered, but also not at the same time. And also those voting blocks are falling apart almost every other tribal. Like, I almost don't feel like it's voting blocks, but with a really, really fluid base. And
yeah,
I mean, when was the last time we got this in Survivor?
David versus Goliath.
David versus Goliath.
It's kind of really the only. I think of Millennials versus Gen X. I think of David versus Goliath. There was a little bit of this in 44.
Yeah.
With kind of the trio from or I don't remember the Carolyn, Carson, Jam Jam. That's the one I'm thinking of. Like that trio, but even then there was a bit more fixed. It was less voting blocks and more honestly voting like individuals. Where a lot of people were very individual, but had people that like they would vote with, because not even that trio really always voted together. Speaking of Caroline and Carson, they have a podcast now talking about Survivor. It's very interesting to listen to their dynamic together. I forget what the podcast is called, but I listened to their cast assessment. It was very entertaining, by the way. So go check that out. I think it's fun. Yeah, so it's been a minute since we've really seen like this is like voting blocks that are sitting in the ocean. That's really what this season feels like, and it's very refreshing. Having watched a lot of like big alliance over the last couple of seasons, it's nice to get a lot more of a fluid game.
Yeah.
So, well, we go to the vote. And we have 5 votes read out for Winna. And then we have 5 votes for Caroline. And then we get 1 vote for Val, 1 vote for Mark, which is what Alex and Rihanna were told to do. So, sure. And then 1 vote left. And they get Winna out.
And to know that if Alex and Rihanna weren't lied to, they would have had their full vote.
Yeah.
They literally just screwed up by lying to people randomly, and it's not going to go well for them at this point, but Winna takes the fall.
Yeah.
Our competitive eater eats no more.
Yeah.
He never really ate.
No. I thought he was a nice character, and he was nice to look at. That's really what I think. Winna had his moments. Winna had his blunders. The whole Charles vote out was just a blunder. But
yeah,
you know, happy there.
I mean, it is very funny that he got an idol out of eating. Literally eating a banana. So, you know what? Good on the Survivor gods for getting one good joke in before Winna went out.
Exactly.
But
and with that,
Winna is a loser.
That was good.
Thank you.
That was really good.
Float off the tongue. The only one I'll have tonight.
Yeah, but that was really good. That was really good. I'm impressed with that, actually. So we then go to episode 15. And now that Win is gone, Jaden wants to play the game, apparently. And now everyone's Ferris for saving the day.
Yay, go Ferris.
And for a second I was like, oh my god, the middle-aged mafia and the Ferris squad working together. Majority? No,
that falls apart by like halfway through the episode.
That falls apart within 10 minutes. And that's why I love that it's a voting block season. I think it's so interesting. But Fine decides she's officially done with Mark. And we didn't talk about it at the tribal, but she was very hurt by Valeria's comments, where Valeria said she was voting for the person that she thought was the weakest in the competition and didn't deserve to be there. And I have to be honest, I do think that was a little harsh from Valeria.
Was it a little harsh? Yes. Is she valid in thinking that after what she's done to her? Kinda.
And I will say, given what she's seen of Caroline's game, it makes complete sense. But what we know of Caroline's game is so much more complex than that. So I get it for sure. It's also just she's Russian. And as we know, with Russian people on reality television right now, we have two of them. And they are both blunt bitches.
And I respect one a lot more than the other.
I respect one. Period.
Women. Anyway.
Women! Come on, Val. But I love when Caroline was like, Valeria said she fights off wolves in Russia, but those wolves are just compared to her. Okay, whatever.
Sure.
Meanwhile, Eden wants to get all the original Titans together, so he decides that he needs to teach Jaden how to play Survivor 31 days into the game.
I mean, the thing is, I can see at least where he's coming from, because Jaden has fully admitted he basically has no strategic bone in his body.
Then why get mad at people talking about it on the internet, Jaden?
But also, interesting thing to bring up to someone that you are working with, that they are not being strategic enough, basically telling them they do not have the brains to play the game. Great way to keep an ally. I love you, Eden, but what the fuck?
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. But I mean,
there's no way to get the Titans back together. It's not going to happen. The whole Caroline and Mark situation is done.
It's over.
It's over.
It went from like kind of private to like one-sided to absolutely never again.
Absolutely would consider, even if everyone else was out of the game. Like, no. And then we go to one of the most complexly the complexity with which this challenge was run was wild. So in the first stage, you're in teams of 6 and you have to use buckets of water and into a drum to drop 2 drums, which then opens a gate and the first team moves on. And then in stage 2, you're in 2 teams of 3, and you have to land 3 monkey's fists onto 3 targets. And then in the last stage, which ends up being Kitty, Valeria, and Mark, it is the first person to complete basically a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
And not to mention, oh yes,
this jigsaw puzzle looked really nice, even though it was just a straight up ad.
Oh, it was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. I was like, oh, work. Okay. Not to mention, the prize just ever so casually being an Isuzu.
Good on them. Good on them for getting a second sponsorship.
And like I said, this challenge is infamous because every single person that has won an Isuzu car on Australian Survivor has gone home 6th. So, will Mark, who won the challenge, come in 6th? I think there's a very real possibility.
I can definitely see it. He's putting himself up to be in a weird position where I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But honestly, Mark winning the reward allows for a really, really interesting moment because he not only gets the car, he also gets a barbecue reward. And in classic Survivor fashion, he gets to pick additional people to come with him. And he chooses Kitty. Okay, sure, you're making up relationships. Valeria?
They were both on his team and got him to the final round. So I get it. I probably would have done the same thing.
You know what? Sure. And Caroline.
I'm pretty sure JLP was just going to keep letting him add people until he picked Caroline so we could get the drama. That's what I thought was going to happen. And Caroline's a little shocked.
Go ahead. You're good.
Oh, and Eden's left behind.
Eden is just... What? What do you mean you chose Caroline?
Eden in this moment is very much, well, fuck my drive.
On my birthday? Just like kind of that shit.
Yeah, literally.
And of course, Valeria and Caroline, Mark brought them there, as a diplomat would, to bring them together and reunite them. That doesn't work.
I think it worked as far as apologies were concerned. And I do like that at the very least on a human level, there was a reconciliation both between Mark and Caroline and also Caroline and Valeria. So I'm happy that at least on a surface level and on a human level, I think there was a bit of reconciliation and it seemed very genuine. On a game level, none of these people are ever going to trust each other again. So whatever it is, it is what it is at this point. But I think that was more so for the reconciliation of the entire situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it was basically
kind of tense at first. It was like, ooh.
Yeah. And I mean, looking forward, it's still going to be very tense between Valeria, Mark, and Caroline and Kitty. At least they won't go to personal attacks, probably.
Let's hope.
But that's it. We go right to immunity.
And stack polls.
Make it big, but don't drop the idol.
The challenge that's made several people pass out.
Oh yeah, it has.
Several.
Yay.
This was who was the last person to pass out from this challenge? I don't remember. I love that it's called overextended.
Oh, like overheating? Yeah. But I mean, they keep making it longer and longer. And I mean, most people are going blind trying to just like stare up at it and try not to crack their neck backwards. But I mean, at the end of it, comes down to, if I am remembering correctly, it is Jaden
And
and
Kirby.
Kirby. Yep. And
Jaden wins. Oh, good. He gets the girly necklace. Anyway, moving on. Anyway, we go back to camp. And the original Titans decide they're going to go for Raymond. Caroline doesn't like that because they worked with Ray and Ferris and Eileen at the last tribal, but they need to work against the rebels, according to Eden.
even though they're 6-6 now, which sure,
literally, like I get it for sure. It's also 4 trios basically at this point.
Yeah,
because you could just slot Jaden in somewhere. You could slot Alex in somewhere. Like it doesn't. I wouldn't necessarily inherently put Mark, Valeria, and Jaden together, but like whatever. So Ferris notices that Eden is talking to the original Titans. Ferris wants to originally split the vote between Brianna and Valeria and creates this contingency plan with Caroline to see where that information ends up. And basically the whole thing with the Ferris, Raymond, Eileen, and I guess the original Rebels overall to an extent is they're all kind of they're all like, okay, maybe we trust Caroline and Kitty and Eden for now. Let's try that plan, see what happens going into tribal. And this tribal is where shit actually happens. And I was thankful for it. Because and Eileen talked a little bit about this on social media, about the whole situation that went down, because they all thought they were with Caroline and Kitty, and Kirby, I think it was Kirby and Ferris, told Eileen, specifically Eileen, to observe everyone at tribal council and give a sign to tell whether they were with them or not.
A second sign, because that worked so well the first time.
I mean, it's very, very obvious at this point. And yeah. Eileen is just like, they're not with us. Because she talked about how they wouldn't even make eye contact with them. They were completely like diverting their gaze away from anywhere close to them. And so Ferris, in this moment, switched her vote onto Eden.
Which,
there was a reason for it. Specifically, I'm gonna pull it up because I want to make sure that I'm getting the right example for it. That's not that.
But unfortunately, that means we have our two referencing comic relief men against each other.
I know.
We're losing one of them. Aww.
I know.
And they're both pawns to someone else's game.
Literally. So this is what Eileen said on Instagram. She said, back at camp, or she very quickly bonded with Eden, and they had a lot of lengthy conversations about the game, and she recognized that Eden could potentially be her top threat, like the top threat to her in the game. Ferris asked her to observe and assess everyone during tribal. When the Titans barely made eye contact with her, she signaled to Ferris that she was on board. She said, while I personally didn't believe it was Eden's time to go just yet, several other factors contributed to our collective decision to choose his name over potential targets. So there was a lot of discussion behind why it ended up being Eden, and
maybe we'll find that out next week.
Potentially. I hope we do. But we go to the vote. Rihanna plays her idol for no reason.
Rihanna, so it is explained a little bit earlier. So Eden kind of like lies to Rihanna to try and make sure it goes to Blair, and is like, hey, you might be getting votes tonight. Which causes her to like get paranoid and consider playing her idol, which she does, unfortunately burning it.
Yeah. But it was a public idol, so like whatever. Yeah. I'm excited to see who gets the idol in the next episode. That's what I'm looking forward to. So we go to the vote. It is a 6-6 draw.
Wow. I mean, honestly, at this point, it's very impressive to see that. We have basically all of we have literally Titans versus Rebels in this vote. Yes. If I'm thinking correctly.
It is. And everyone's voting along original tribal lines in the first vote.
And then
the second
get a flip. And exactly one flip, too. Like, everyone else was willing to go to Rocks. But in a storyline...
I would have loved to see it go to Rocks. I think that would have been so fun. For this cast, I think that would have been so fun. But...
it would have provided a robber, though. Let's be real.
Oh, yeah, because it probably would have been Eileen one. And I would have been so depressed. But one flip means... that Eden goes home right from jury. Of all people to flip, it's Jaden.
It's Jaden who got a talking to by Eden about how to play Survivor, and whose reason for flipping was to have revenge for Winna.
When Eden wasn't even really a part of that plan, he just voted him out.
Why not? Why not? And it sucks because I think Eden would have killed it on the jury. But that's how it goes.
I'm really sad to do this.
Yeah. Where are my movie references gonna come from?
Raymond.
Yeah.
You still have one white lanky nerd, okay? Only 2 of them have gone home so far.
And so for the first time in this whole season, all of the X's connect, which is just a fun little note for anyone. I don't know why it's relevant. It just makes my brain go burr.
Well, this is the last time you're going to see the full thing, because next week I'm going to make the jury one. So it'll be a lot smaller. Probably.
It'll be a little smaller, just a little.
It'll probably be a square or a rectangle, or like a shorter rectangle. But that is that. Everyone that doesn't have an X on their face is on the jury, which means unfortunately we're stuck with Jaden for the season.
Yeah. But we do get Eileen and Ferris for as long as possible. And Raymond.
True. But yes, we will be back next week to talk first week of jury. We have 8 more competitive episodes plus a finale, which kind of tracks because it's usually final 4 going into jury. So that makes, or it would be final 3. There's probably a non-elimination episode at some point.
Yeah, there's definitely a non-elimination of some kind.
Because I think it's usually final 2 on Australian Survivor, weirdly.
I can still see there being an unelimination episode though. So
yeah. So we shall see what happens. But let us know down in the comments below, what did you think of this week of Australian Survivor? Merge week. It's done. It happened. We're over it. And very excited for the next 3 weeks of Australian Survivor. If you're a big Survivor fan, we are also currently covering Survivor 46. We've got our premiere coverage coming out either right before or right after this episode goes up. We've got Lana and David talking all things Survivor premiere, so make sure to go check that video out as well. And we'll all be back together in some capacity probably next week to talk both Australian Survivor and Survivor 46. In the meantime, make sure to subscribe over here because we've got a lot of reality TV content coming very, very soon. We are finishing out Traders right now. We've got Deal or No Deal Island that just started, which is very exciting. We've got Amazing Race on the horizon very, very soon. Very excited about that as well. And we've got 2 other channels as well with Almost All Things Drag and Almost All Things Eurovision Song Contest. If you'd like to become a member of our channel as well and join the tea room, you can go hit the join button over on our main channel, The Cut Pod, or you can go to Patreon, same content, different platform. Those links will be down in the description below. While you're down in the description below, you could go follow our socials at The Cut Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You could follow Jack and I as well, really, really wanted to. And you could go get your merch, including but not limited to cup mug, down below as well. And with all that being said, cheers!
Cheers! You know, I'm just now thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
We did have a jungle gym the whole season. It only makes sense that the first merge challenge is a goddamn gym machine.
You know, that does make sense, actually, when you think about it. Yeah. Goodbye.